Hey guys, welcome back to another devlog of Project JazzGame. It's been a minute since the last update, but I'm back, and today we're making some serious progress. So a quick recap of what happened in the last devlog. We nailed down the art style for the player models, and that ties directly into what we're tackling today. We're going to be creating some NPCs for Project JazzGame. In case you're new here or you just need a refresher, Project JazzGame is a third-person, open-world action-adventure game that's all about fluid movement, parkour, combat, stealth, and dynamic interactions with the environment. I've been working on this game for a few months now, and I'm documenting every step of the way. So if you're watching this in real time, then you're all caught up. But hey, if you're from the future, you've got some binging to do. So welcome to the journey. Alright, let's dive in. So here's our current little testing map. But it feels pretty lifeless, so we need to bring it to life. And what better way to do that than to add some NPCs, or as I like to call them right now, naked little men. Yep, that's the first step. Next, we need to make them move around, and to do that, we need something called a nav mesh, which I'm guessing is short for navigation mesh. It's basically a simplified mesh of where the AI agents are meant to move around. And luckily, Unity has its own nav mesh and some extra nav mesh tools. Alright guys, so we're done baking the nav mesh and it's looking pretty good. But we need to give these guys some actual logic so they can move around. And that requires game AI programming, and there are a lot of ways to approach this. State machines, if else, gulp, behavior trees. I went with behavior trees mainly because Unity has a new package that is all about behavior trees. Well, with all that out the way, let's get to cooking. So here's where we're starting. Our naked guy's only functionality right now is to move to random points on the map, which is pretty boring, right? But before we spice things up, let's take a moment and follow him around. Let's see what he's up to. It seems like he likes walking near the edges of the map. Let's push him off.
Oh no.
Before adding in new features, I wanted to stress test the system, so naturally I spawned 100 naked guys and then I set them loose on the map. As you'd expect, the performance took a huge hit, but all that's part of the process. I really can't wait for the game optimization devlog arc, but for now, let's just focus on making these naked guys more interesting, okay? Well, the first thing I wanted was for the NPCs to walk around the sidewalks and interact with the player. I also thought it would be pretty fun to let the player bump into them, so after some fiddling, it's kinda working. And when you bump into them hard enough, they go into the ragdoll state, which is funny. But that made me run into a bug. Sometimes after the NPCs finish ragdolling, they start tweaking out, like proper glitching. And I wanted to ignore it, but the perfectionist in me couldn't let it go, so I had to fix it. It turns out the issue was with the behavior trees. It was aborting too early and not blending back to the normal animation state after ragdolling. And on top of that, the animator calling was preventing the physics system from syncing properly. The results? Well, the NPCs would spaz out like crazy. After hours of debugging and a few too many breaks to play the finals, I found a fix, which was switching from the abort if to the switch statement, which ensures that it gets to the end of the branch that sets the ragdoll blend back to the animation mode. Okay guys, now that's fixed. I wanted to expand the NPC system, so I put together a basic traffic system using this tutorial as a starting point. But here's the thing, I'm making an open world game, so I can't just be placing NPCs manually. Everything needs to be dynamic and handled at runtime. To make this happen, I created a system that spawns NPCs dynamically out of the player's view and also despawns them when they get too far away. Now let me break it down. First, for NPC spawning, we get a list of waypoints in a certain range around the player. Then we filter out the ones that are visible to the camera. To check if the waypoint is hidden, we just generate a bounding box around it and then we size it to match the NPC. And then we shoot some rays from the camera to the corners of the box, and if all the rays hit something, then we assume that the waypoint is hidden, and then we can spawn an NPC right there. We also make sure waypoints aren't too close to active NPCs to prevent overcrowding. And for despawning the NPCs, well, that's pretty simple. If he gets too far from the player, well, he gets deleted. Now here's a clip of the system in action. As you can see, the NPCs get spawned around corners or behind buildings, and they disappear seamlessly as you move away. After a few days of tweaking, I added some more fun mechanics, like the bumping mechanic is smoother, and I also added a slide tackle that knocks the NPCs into the ragdoll mode. Oh, and if a ragdoll collides with another character with enough force, they go into the ragdoll mode too. Kind of like a domino effect. And I've also been experimenting with player animations, like this turn in place animation, but that's out of scope for this devlog. I'll probably cover it in a future update. So that's where we're at. The NPC system is still in its early stages and there's a lot more I could do. I plan to refine it and add some more behaviors and integrate them into the world's ecosystem. But this is just the foundation. It's really exciting to see the whole game coming together. Slowly, yes, but surely. Well, that's pretty much how I added the NPCs to Project JazzGame. If you made it this far, well, thanks for sticking around, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next devlog. And as always, just let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys.